Today as I say, we're going to wrap up yung Ako, Ikaw, Tayo. No? And really, as you study now through the book of Nehemiah, you get to see it in another light. Parang ang sarap lang basahin yung Nehemiah, knowing that in a lot of ways, the nation at the time is parallel to what we're experiencing now as a nation here in the Philippines and what God has in store for us. And if you look at Nehemiah 1, when we started 4 weeks ago, we started talking about how Nehemiah was weeping because there was great trouble in the land. Right? But if you fast forward, which we won't be able to discuss dahil 4 weeks lang to, and Nehemiah has 12 chapters, but you look at Nehemiah 12, it ended with such great rejoicing. People were so happy. They were worshiping God. The temple was rebuilt. The walls were rebuilt. And people had a high spiritual morale because of what happened. Because of them going back to the Word of God, them experiencing the Word of God, them embracing the divine agenda na meron sila. No? And so, from great trouble to great rejoicing, you kind of wonder what sustained them. And somewhere in the middle, there's this tension that happened from Nehemiah 1 to Nehemiah 12. Dahil if you study Nehemiah 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you start to see there were more trouble brewing. Kala ni Nehemiah, it was already done. We finished the walls in 52 days. We went back, and then he started hearing news again that something is happening in and the people were starting to compromise again their character and their spirituality. And so he had to go back there and really rebuke the leaders at the time. Pero as what I said, we won't go there because time won't permit that. But what sustained them from Nehemiah 1 to Nehemiah 12, I believe, was the vision that God's name will be glorified. Parang pinanghawakan nila yun eh. Meron silang pinanghahawakan that even though it was so hard in the beginning, and even though they thought it was finished by Nehemiah 6, kala mo, no, Nehemiah 6, it's done, the walls are rebuilt, you're rejoicing. From 7 to 12, the story did not end. Parang sa pelikula, parang kala mo tapos na, meron pa. Okay? And it was something like that, no, what Nehemiah experienced, where he thought it was done, it was finished. Wow, we've done it all, our nation is transforming, and then something happened. Okay, and I think all of us here, we need to be, we need to be aware that what we're doing here, we have to do till Christ returns. This is not something that, okay, I've done my part, it's okay. For the older generation here, you cannot say, we've done our part. For you to do your part, you've got to pass this faith to the next generation. And for Nehemiah, he needed to do that. He needed to empower leaders who would think like him. That's why he had a great plan on how to sustain the transformation that was about to happen. And it was the vision that God gave them. Not just their own vision. Marami tayo, we have personal visions, di ba? Marami tayong vision sa buhay. Pero it was a God-given vision that sustained, okay, the development and the transformation of the nation. And when they rebuilt the wall, yung wall kasi is a testament of God's grace and power. When they rebuilt that wall, it was like saying, look, the people of God were able to rebuild this not because they're good or they're strong. They're not. In fact, only a few % went back to rebuild the walls. But they were saying it was because of the gracious hand of God that was upon us. That's why we were able to rebuild this nation. And I think we're seeing it happen in our nation also. Doesn't mean the Filipinos, wow, we're such a Christian country. That's why now we're experiencing prosperity, blessings are coming in. It's not because of that, but because of the gracious hand of the Lord that is upon our nation. In short, I cannot take pride of what I'm doing on my own, but I need to acknowledge that it was God's grace that has brought our nation where it is now. It's a testament of God's grace and God's power. But the funny thing is this, no, when you start to study Nehemiah, if you look at the end, it wasn't really about the wall. Marami sa atin kasi feeling natin, pag natayo na yung wall, ayos na. But if you look at Nehemiah, it wasn't even about the wall. It was about what God can do. In short, the walls can be destroyed again. Right? When we built this place, it wasn't about the building. We were happy with the worship hall, but it's not really about this place. This place, 20 years from now, baka wala na to. But it's the lives of people that were transformed because of the grace of God that would tell the stories. This building on its own has no story if there's nobody here whose lives are being changed. Right? Nag-go homeschool kami this week, and we were talking about the house and the home. So my daughter said, Dad, what does it mean that the wise woman builds her home? Sabi ko, what do you think is a home? Sabi niya, a home. This one is a home. Our condo is a home. I said, no, this is a house. A home is when we start experiencing and creating memories here in our house. Then it becomes a home. Ewan ko kung tama yung turo ko, no? Right? Pero mukhang hallmark siya. Okay? Yun dating, no? So, okay. So, how do we make this house a home? All right? And so she started giving ideas of how to make a house a home. It's the same here. It's not about the wall. It's not about the buildings. I know we're expanding a lot. I've shown you pictures from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, how Victory has been expanding and how we needed money to expand. But for a lot of people, you'll miss it if you think it's about the church buildings or the projects. It's not. Okay? Every time we do something, it's not about the wall. It's about God's name being glorified. So if it takes me to spend more money so that God's name be glorified, so be it. In short, Nehemiah spent a lot of money. Why? Because God's name needs to be glorified. It wasn't about him. It wasn't even about him. It wasn't even about a name. It's only about one name, which is Christ, which is God. And so, if you look at today, if you look at the walls, it was really about God's grace and power to restore things. And walls could represent our lives, no? Sometimes we look at our church or our nation, and we're saying, grabe, no, yung buhay ko parang wall ng nirebuild ni Nehemiah. Ibig sabihin, sobrang sira na yung buhay ko. Or it could be our church. Wow, our church has not been experiencing the power of the Holy Spirit, and it's just like people are just coming in just to put in their attendance. A church could be in ruin. Our lives could be in ruin. Even our nation could be in ruin. But when we study Nehemiah, you'll start to see, wow, God is the power to restore. God is the power to rebuild, and He will use His people to rebuild the wall. Okay? So that's why you have to have a God vision that God can turn things around. Okay? Ewan ko na saan kayo ngayon, no? If you feel like parang you go home and you say, I feel like the wall. Okay, I feel like I'm in ruin, I'm in trouble. It's desperate. It's okay. Most of us, we experience that in life, but let me remind you, God is a turnaround specialist. He can turn things around if you start to do what even Nehemiah did in this book. And what I said earlier, it was the vision that sustained them. Now, we talk about vision a lot. You go outside, you hear talks about vision. And why do we keep talking about vision? And to just start off, no, yung vision na sinasabi ko dito, hindi ito yung vision na nababasa natin sa self-help books. Okay? And I have a vision for your life. No, this is the vision when I'm pertaining to vision is a vision that God has given you. It's different from a vision that you've crafted on your own and a divine agenda that God has given you, which I preached in the first week. Lahat tayo dapat may divine agenda tayo kay God. Diba? Shinare ko nga, ang divine agenda ko is that the local church is the hope of the world. Because I believe the message of the gospel can only be found in the church. And the only hope for this world is for the church to do its part to spread the gospel. Okay? Because we can get all moral and we can rally the streets, but if we don't preach and disciple, nothing will happen. Short-term lang yung transformation. What we're looking for is genuine long-term transformation. That's why we need to have a vision in our church. One of the things when I started in Victory, alam mo yung vision natin dati sobrang haba. Pero memorize ko. Because every time we would be in church, may backdrop dyan. Nakasulat yung vision. Victory exists to honor God and make disciples. Victory exists to honor God by making disciples, training leaders, and planting churches in the Philippines, in the Asia, and the world. Haba, no? Memorize namin yun. Okay? Kasi kahit saan ka pumunta, nandun yung vision. Nasa pulpit, nakalagay, dyan nakalagay, may sticker nakalagay. So lahat kami, memorize namin. Tapos napansin namin, in the Philippines, Asia, and the world, isa lang yun. The world din yun. So iniksian natin. Yeah? Hanggang ngayon, sobrang iksi na, 4 words na lang. Victory, honor God, make disciples. Buti pa kayo, memorize nyo na, di ba? 4 words, akong haba-haba nun. Okay, but we took it into heart and we're saying, we believe in this vision. A Chinese proverb says, if your vision is for a year, you can plant wheat. Okay? If your vision is for 10 years, you plant trees. But if your vision is for a lifetime, you plant people. This is so true, di ba? This is according to my grandfather, no? Okay. Sabi niya, kung gusto mo talaga ng vision that would last a lifetime, you've got to learn how to invest in people. You've got to inject the vision to the people. Right? I've been in Victory for the past 15 years. Right? And this has been injected in me. In short, lahat ng ginagawa ko boils down to 2 things. I honor God and I make disciples. You know what we preach to our leaders every time we meet? It's simple. Honor God, make disciples. Okay, some of them, sinusukan na nila yung vision. It's okay. It means I have to over-communicate the vision to them. Why do we remind people of the vision of the church? Okay? Bakit kailangan nire-remind siya palagi? Here's why. Because vision leaks. Ang vision, it leaks. In short, kahit i-share ko sa iyo yan ngayon, nagkape tayo, after 1 month, it leaks. You forget the vision. That's why you have to be reminded all the time of the vision. Okay? I just finished a business book called The Advantage. Talks about how to have a healthy organization. It's funny, the 4 points of how to have a healthy organization. Sabi niya, number 1, build a cohesive team. Should be united. Number 2, build clarity. Number 3, over-communicate clarity. And number 4, it's about clarity. So sabi ko, parang niloko ko nitong libro na to. Everything is about being clear with why we exist. In short, ang sinasabi niya, vision leaks. Pati sa pamilya mo. Di ba minsan may usapan kayo na mag-asawa? O ano ha? Ano na tayo ha? Parang tayo to, no? Tulog na tayo maaga ha? Para maka-jogging tayo. Okay? Sige, gagawin na. Huwag na tayo manood. Once a week na lang tayo manood. Sige. Okay? Lahat yan suggestions ko. Tapos ako rin nagbe-break. After 3 days, no tayo. Tapos puyat na naman kami. Why? Vision leaks. In short, we need to remind each other time and time again. Why? Because vision leaks. Not only does vision leaks, okay, but vision is also opposed. Pag meron kang God-sized vision, it will always be opposed. People would always say, that won't work, that's too big. People will oppose the vision that God has given you. All right? And J.I. Packer, while he was studying Nehemiah, said that Nehemiah 4 to Nehemiah chapter 6 is a theme about warfare. It's about warfare. It's about fighting. Okay? It means it is inevitable that when you do God's work, you will be opposed. Right? Wala pa ako nakitang gumagawa ng work ni God na hindi na opposed or walang challenges. Right? Everything that has something to do about God will always be opposed. No matter how good your heart is, how pure your heart is, people will oppose it. Why? Because it's a God-sized vision. Okay? Sabi ng ating one of our heroes, si Ninoy, sabi niya, di ba? The Filipino is worth dying for. Okay? And you see, the vision for the Philippines, for our nation, is worth fighting for. And I know it gets opposed all the time. When we want to do something good about the Philippines, it gets opposed. Right? Laging may opposition. Hindi pwedeng walang opposition. Kung hindi maganda yung pelikula. Right? In short, in life, you will always be opposed. And let's look at Nehemiah 4, verse 1 to 3, and who opposed the vision of them rebuilding the church, of the walls. Okay? In Nehemiah 4, chapter 1 to 3, it says, when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews. And in the presence of his associates and the army of Samaria, he said, what are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Okay? Can they bring the stones back to life from those heaps of rubble, burned as they are? Tobiah, the Ammonite, who was at his side, said, what they are building, even a fox climbing up on it would break down their wall of stones. What was Sanballat doing? Nung nire-rebuild na nila yung wall, sabi ni Sanballat, ano kayo? Are you dreaming? You think you can finish that? First of all, you've got few workers. Secondly, we will oppose that work. You Jews, you're like this, you're like that. You don't have funding, you don't, and even the sidekick of Sanballat said, nako, pag may dumating na aso dyan, hulog yan. Alright, fox pala. Wala tayong fox no? Si Tapang, pagpunta dyan, okay, hulog na agad dyan. They were trying to bring division to the people who were working. Imagine you're doing something good, really good, and people would come around and say, that won't work. Ilan sa inyo ganon? Nakahanap kayo ng trabaho, tapos shinare nyo sa mga loved ones nyo, ano sabi nila? Naku, hindi ka tatagal dyan. Thank you, ha? Thank you for the encouragement. Okay? Di ba? If you're doing something that you think is worthwhile, people would oppose you. Di ba? People will tell you, ba't mo gagawin yan? Ba't mo gagawin yan? Yeah. Gusto ko dati magpastor. It was something good. People said, huwag ka magpapastor. Papayat ka dyan. Walang pera dyan. Hindi tama yan. It was something good, and people will oppose you. People will say, you're too young. Don't do that. Gusto ko na mag-asawa. Ano sabi? Mag-asawa ka na? 24 lang ako. 25. Mag-asawa ka 25. Kaya mo ba yan? Nagpastor ka na nga. Mag-asawa ka pa. Yeah. Kaya mo ba yan? People will oppose you. Something that God has told you that you'll get married, and people will oppose you. Hindi pa yan nation building, ha? Sarili mo pa lang yan. People will already oppose that. But you've got to make that decision. God, I'm holding on to you. I'm leaning on to you. God, you've called me to do this, and I'm doing this no matter how hard it is, and no matter how much opposition comes my way, I am going to do it. Sanballat was prepared with all the questions. He wants to divide and stop the work. But they couldn't discourage the people. In Nehemiah 4, verse 4 to 6, something happened. It says, hear, O our God, for we are despised. Turn back their taunt on their own heads and give them up and be plundered in the land where they are captives. Do not cover their guilt, and let not their sin be blotted out from your sight, for they have provoked you to anger in the presence of the builders. So we built the wall, and all the wall was joined together to half its height, for the people had the mind to what? To work. People were saying, you can't do that. Dogs would come in there and it would crumble. But they said, instead of reacting to the opposition, they just said, let's just continue building. And they prayed, Lord, tingnan mo. Grabe, Lord, Lord, patayin mo na lang, Lord. Parang ganun, di ba? When opposition comes, okay, eto, tip lang to, no? When opposition comes, and I'm telling you, opposition will come not from people who don't matter. Opposition comes to people who matter to you. Kasi kung somebody opposes me, that doesn't really matter. I don't know him. Sabihin natin, biglang may nag-Facebook sa akin na hindi ko kakilala. Ba't mo ba ginagawa yan? Hindi ko sasagutin yan. I won't even answer. Why? It doesn't matter. I don't know you. You don't know me. Right? But if it comes from people who are close to you, it's different. Right? It's very different. You get discouraged easily. Why? Because, their opinion matters. But lagi may away sa pamilya? Because if somebody in the family member says something negative to you, it hurts. Why? Because you love them. Right? And so, yung opposition na to, this is not just any other people. This was somebody who was famous. It was Sanballat and Tobiah who could gather crowds and really destroy the work of Nehemiah. But Nehemiah and the workers just prayed. Lord, they can talk behind our back. We'll just pray for them. Lord, kayo nang bahala sa kanila. How do you react when there's opposition in your life? Gumaganti ka ba? Ganon. Finacebook mo ako. Facebook war tayo ngayon. Okay? Naaway kayo online, no? Nagsasagutan kayo for the world to see. Right? Minsan ang babaw, no? Why would we do that, right? Instead of doing that, they knew how to respond. They responded by praying and saying, God, you take care of these people. We'll just build the wall. And so they continued building the wall. When Sanballat saw that they continued building the wall, verse 7, he said he went to plan B. But when Sanballat, Tobiah, and the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the people of Ashron heard that the repairs to Jerusalem's walls had gone ahead and that the gaps were being closed, they were very angry. They all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. So sabi ni Tobiah at ni Sanballat. Alam niyo ba't Sanballat pangalan niya, di ba? Na-explain ko na to sa 4 and 6 eh. Alam niyo bakit? Kung nasaan balat niya? Okay, so, yun. Okay, kaya Sanballat yan. Okay. So, nung nalaman nila, wow, they're continuing the walls. This means war. He started calling all of his friends and saying, lalaban tayo. We'll go fight them. We'll destroy them. Let's take our swords and kill these people who are rebuilding the walls. So this is really a threat coming Nehemiah's way and the workers' way. Okay? They wanted to instill fear and they wanted a war. They want to stop the rebuilding at all cost. And the answer Nehemiah gave was this, verse 9. Grabe to. And we prayed to our God and set a guard as a protection against them day and night. So sabi nila, let's pray. After they prayed, let's make a plan. I'm just reviewing the last 3 weeks, okay? Let's pray. Let's make a plan. Some of you, stop working, you'll be guards from this day on. When they come, we'll fight them. Right? So Nehemiah was saying, if this is from God, this will not stop. Right? And they were saying, that's not from God, it has to stop. Opposition must not stop the work of God. And the best way to silence critics is to see your vision through to completion. Remember, you are not accountable to your critics. Though they will do everything to make you think you are accountable to them. You are accountable to God. And who has invited you to partner with Him to create what could be and should be. Okay, remember that. When you're being opposed with a divine agenda that God has given you, they'll make you think you're accountable to them. Think for a moment and realize, kinino nga ba talaga ako accountable? Sa tao o sa Diyos? Right? In short, some things I don't need to explain because I know I'm accountable to God. Right? When somebody opposes you, I had that experience 2 years before. Somebody was opposing me. So I go, what will I do? There's lies being spread around about my character, about who I am. So will I react? Will I go and blog about it? Or would I defend myself to people? I just prayed, Lord, kayo nang bahala. Hindi ko alam paano to. I don't know how to fight this war. Somebody spreading malicious lies against me, which are all made up. So what do? I just prayed. And I said, you know what? I let my life and integrity speak for itself. And because of that, it died down. And instead of losing somebody, I even gained critics because of how I reacted. In short, talaga ma-oppose tayo. Right? All of us here will be opposed. When we do something that's good, we will be opposed. But what you need to do is just like Nehemiah. Number 1, he prayed. Number 2, he revised his plan. Why? What was in his thinking? In his thinking was this: what God has determined to be, will be. You can't stop God. What He is determined to be, will be. The question is, do you want to join in what God is doing in His church and in our nation? Okay. Yun naman yung tanong eh. God will do something in the Philippines. God will bring about revival in the Philippines. I am sure of that. The question is, do we want our generation to be the one to spearhead it, or are we waiting for the next generation to do it? Right? Yun yung tanong eh. Yeah. Most of us here, we're calling you now to rise and build with us. Right? The question is, whether you rise and build with us, the church will be built. The question is, gusto mo bang kasama ka doon, or gusto mo bang ipasa na lang sa iba yung responsibilidad? Doesn't really matter. It will happen. What God determined to be, will be. Okay? So Nehemiah revised his plan in verse 13 to 14. So in the lowest parts of the space behind the wall, in open places, I stationed the people by their clans with their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked and arose and said to the nobles and to the officials and to the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome. Fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes. Ano sabi ni Nehemiah? Okay, all of you, get your swords, get your hammers. Okay? We build and we fight. When they come, let's get ready to fight. If we want to see revival happen in our nation, you've got to understand nation building is like going to war. Gera yan. It's a fight. The enemy will put up a fight. The question is, are we willing to be united together to sacrifice and fight? In Nehemiah 4, verse 15 to 23, he now explains how they fought. Babasahin ko na lang, di ko na nilagay dyan. No? When our enemies heard that it was known to us and that God has frustrated their plan, we all returned to the wall, each to his work. From that day on, half of my servants worked on construction and half held the spears, shields, bows, and coats of mail. And the leaders stood behind the whole house of Judah who were building on the wall. Those who carried burdens were loaded in such a way that each labored on the work with one hand and held his weapon with the other. And each of the builders had his sword strapped at his side while he built. The man who sounded the trumpet was beside me. And I said to the nobles, to the officials, and the rest of the people, the work is great and widely spread, and we are separated on the wall, far from one another. In the place where you hear the sound of the trumpet, rally to us there, our God will fight for us. Nehemiah was saying, lahat tayo, let's go back to work. Let's construct. Some of you, full-time, you'll be bodyguards, bouncers, okay? Just be there, outside. But all of us, yung mga nagbubuhat, meron kayong dalang weapon. Yung mga nagmamartilyo, you have a sword. Everyone here, you're equipped to go to battle. You know, it should be the picture of Christians. As we build, we must know how to fight. In short, we're ready to fight. As we make disciples, as we continue to spread the gospel, dapat handa tayo. Meron tayong tools. Hindi pwedeng build ka, hindi ka nakipag-away. Kasi bakit? Ang enemy makipag-away sa yan eh. Okay? Pero, huwag tayong maghanap ng away. Okay? In short, mag-disciple tayo, faithful tayo, spread natin yung gospel, share natin yung love of God sa people. But when opposition comes, learn how to fight. When opposition comes, you got to be ready with the tools God has given us to fight. Right? Yung ibang Kristiyano naman baliktad, laging fight. Sa kaka-fight nila, wala silang binibuild. Okay? Hindi siya balance. Okay? Marami, warfare ng warfare, walang discipleship. Okay? In short, as a church, dapat alam mo ang trabaho mo. We disciple, we do warfare. But when we do warfare, we don't pick up the fight. When they want to fight, we're ready to fight. Why? Our God will fight for us. Okay? But there will be seasons when the trumpet, okay? The torotot, okay? The trumpet will be, ano ba yan? Okay. Alam mo ang init ng dalawang ilaw na yan, baka pwede na natin patayin, no? Kanina pa akong naglo-lose weight dito, okay? Ayan, okay. Gwapo pa rin. Okay. Nasana, when the torotot, okay, when wala na tuloy ako, okay, when the trumpet is sound, or when the trumpet is trumpeted, okay, dapat alam natin, oh, let's go to fight. Right? Kasi like sa church, makita mo may buhay ang simbahan. Minsan parang laban, gera. Tapos may peace. Tapos build, discipleship. Okay? Parang ganun sa Victory. 28 years na tayo, 29 years na tayo. Seasons yan. This season, in some supernatural way, we just don't know. We're in a season of building. Everywhere we go, we're building. Yeah? And it's not us looking for places. It's malls calling, can you build here? This is the price, special price for Victory. Di ba parang, ang hirap. Ngayon, dati kami yung naghahabol, meron ba kayong place? Ngayon kami na, hindi mo na. Okay? Wag mo na. Okay? Kasi may ginagawa pa kami iba. In short, our season for today, whether we like it or not, even I am surprised, actually, when we would have meetings. Somebody's building here, something's building here. And when they build, puno agad. Then they build here, puno agad. Parang, okay, ano bang, but lahat tayo nagbi-build. Di ba? And